Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, we'll kick things off talking about Windows Emulation on Android with Winlator, and Winlator just added in a brand new massive feature. So at the time of filming, Winlator 4.0 is the latest version, and I think a lot of people are going to like this one. They've implemented direct input and X input for Android gamepads. Yes, Winlator now supports gamepads. They've improved input controls, and there's also performance improvements. Now, some people are claiming that with this update, games like Dishonored are now fully playable. I'm not quite sure about that one. Hopefully so. And this is Palworld up and running horribly on Box 64. Winlator uses Box 64, so I'm kind of curious, can Winlator kind of run Palworld? If you've tried this one out, let me know in the comments below. And speaking about Palworld, next up we're talking about Palworld, and it appears that Palworld is heavily on Nintendo's radar. We talked about Palworld a few days ago when a lot of people were comparing the Palworld Pokemon things to actual Pokemon. And then we talked about Palworld yesterday when people were modding it. And people were modding Pokemon into Palworld. And Toasted Shoes posted a video here saying, I modded actual Pokemon into Palworld. And lo and behold, Nintendo took it down. Now, if you don't believe me for some reason, here's the message right from Toasted Shoes. Nintendo has come for me. Please leave me in your thoughts and prayers. And on top of that, there's even more context. Toasted Shoes says, I've had countless messages over the last 24 hours. Regarding the Palworld Pokemon mod pack and where you can get it. Today Nintendo hit me with DMCA strike on Twitter over the mod pack and can very much do the same to me on YouTube. Right now we are not releasing the mod pack due to the possible legal repercussions that could ensue. We want to release it for free and give you all a chance to play it. We just need to try to go about it the right way and to avoid a lawsuit. Hope everyone understands and thank you for the love. Even the Nexus mod staff are removing Palworld mods that have to do with Pokemon, so if you are trying to find one over on Nexus mods, chances are you won't. At this point in time, I've got no idea if Nintendo is going to come for Palworld itself, but I think they are paying attention and Palworld might be walking a pretty thin line. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. And speaking about Nintendo, next up we're talking about Pretendo, the free and open source replacement for Nintendo 3DS and Wii U servers. And today, Pretendo issued a very important announcement, and one you may want to pay attention to if you're interested in the future of this project. So they reminded everybody that Nintendo Network is officially shutting down on April 8th of this year, in just over a couple of months. Once Nintendo Network shuts down, it's going to be incredibly difficult for Pretendo to reverse engineer it. So to speed up development and continue development, Pretendo are asking for three different things. The first one here is arguably the most important by far, and that's for network dumps. If you want to learn more about that one, I'll drop a link in the description below and feel free to check it out. The second thing they're asking for are donations, especially in the next couple of months. It'll help people possibly take a day or two or even more off work to try to get some of this stuff done. And the third thing is to spread the word. The more people know about this, the more people may be able to contribute to network dumps. So best of luck to the developers over at Pretendo. They've got a lot of work to do and not a lot of time, and possibly even shorter if Nintendo decides to make things difficult. Next up, we're talking about Ares, an amazing multi-system emulator focused on accuracy and preservation, and Ares just got a big new update. So at the time of filming, Ares version 135 is the latest release. This one's got 51 commits by 14 contributors. And Ares, interestingly here, is moving to a brand new monthly release schedule. So yes, we're getting a brand new version of Ares every month. Now the user interface got some minor fixes and tweaks, for example renaming reload to apply in driver settings to clarify its function. There's improvements to ColecoVision, the NES, Game Boy Advance, Nintendo 64 and 64DD, and they've also reduced latency. And on top of that, they've enabled support for the Mega Mouse for 32X and CD32X games. There's PlayStation improvements and even more, including a whole bunch of bug fixes. Ares is 100% free and open source. It's a continuation of what Nier was developing and is now in the hands of Luke Usher. I'll drop a link to it in the description below and feel free to check it out. And speaking about free and open source, next up we're talking about N64 emulation with RMG. RMG stands for Subscribe to Mr. Sujano, or Rosalies Mupen GUI, a free and open source front end for Mupen 64 Plus. So at the time of filming, version 0.56 is the latest update, and this one's got a whole bunch of bug fixes, including one here for the updater on the portable version. If you are trying to do this before and running into issues extracting the zip file, that should hopefully be fixed. Next up, we're talking about PlayStation, and Sony just published the PlayStation Store's top downloads of 2023. Before we go further, how many of you think Call of Duty is #1? If you are curious about this one, I'll drop a link in the description below. So for PS5 in US and Canada, Hogwarts Legacy was actually #1. Call of Duty was #2. In Europe, we have no surprise here, FC24 #1. Hogwarts Legacy in #2 and COD in #3. Now moving over to PS4 and under US and Canada, no surprise here, we've got Call of Duty as #1, followed by Hogwarts Legacy and MLB The Show 23. And for the EU here, same as PS5, EA Sports FC24 is #1, followed by Minecraft and Red Dead Redemption 2. The EU list for the PS4 is surprising to me, considering even Call of Duty is way down the list. Now for PSVR 2 games, for both US, Canada, and the EU, we've got Pavlov, Beat Saber, and Kayak dominating both lists. For PSVR, we've got Beat Saber, Job Simulator, and Superhot on top. And last, for free-to-play on both PS5 and PS4, no surprise for both the US and Canada and the EU, we've got Fortnite, followed by Roblox and Call of Duty Warzone. Next up, this one's a quick one. If you've got an iPad or a Mac with an M-series chip or an iPhone 15 Pro, well, Death Stranding Director's Cut is launching, I think, on January 30th. For some reason, it says January 31st here, so maybe it's been moved to January 31st. It's currently on for $19.99, which is about half price. I think the regular price on this thing is going to be about $40. Next up, I've got another quick one, and this is more of just an update to yesterday's video. So we talked about Monster Hunter Rise and how Capcom had removed Denuvo, and then ended up replacing it with Enigma. Enigma ended up breaking compatibility on the Steam Deck, and this being a previously Steam Deck verified game presented a bunch of headache to people. Well, it appears there was an update here to make it work with the Steam Deck yet again. Unfortunately for Capcom, the damage on the Steam store page has kind of been done. Under the recent reviews, it's showing as mostly negative. Do you think Capcom cares? Do you think Capcom learned their lesson? My answer here is probably no. And speaking about annoying DRM, next up we're talking about Helldivers 2. And if you're looking to play this game on the Steam Deck, you may be let down. If we take a look at the Steam store page here and scroll down just a little bit, it says it incorporates third-party DRM, nprotect GameGuard. So PC Focus points out that nprotect GameGuard is an ancient anti-cheat that can't be removed even by deleting the game. It needs a tool to remove it from your computer. Well, I don't know if that'll remain true for Helldivers. I know that GameGuard does present a bit of a problem for Wine, and therefore Linux and also the Steam Deck. I don't know about you, but I am so friggin' sick about DRM, including anti-cheats ruining gameplay experience. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and one fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Let me know your thoughts about absolutely any of it in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.